My name is Joey Croner. I own and operate the Dice and Comics Cafe, or DCC, in Seoul. And today I'm going to show you what life in Korea is like for me and the various gaming and comics communities that meet in my shop. We have a lot of different types of events. We do food, burgers and chili dogs and stuff. We also have comics, role-playing games, and board games. Mainly what I like about games is how they bring people together. When you come to an event in my store, you'll see a lot of people at the same table that otherwise would never have interacted with each other. But through a common interest, they're brought together, and there's a structure for how they interact with each other. So even people that outside of the store might not get along, they'll sit at a table and they'll get along. It's kind of the role-playing game central for a fair number of role players. One, as far as expats, is the meetup group that's the English-speaking role players and board gamers of Seoul. There's several other communities of Korean role-playing groups that play different games, and we have regular events with them and work together with them. As far as events, we have weekly ones. Wednesday and Fridays, we have TRPG stuff where people can just walk in and play. Tuesdays right now, we have a group of board game and tabletop game designers that come and they play test games. This year we did the first Seoul Comics Week. Comic legend Bob Layton that created Scott Lang Ant-Man and War Machine and co-created Iron Man came and met with fans and signed books. On Thursdays, we have Drink and Draw. We have professional comic artists that come in and everyone just hangs out and draws. And it's cool. Every week I see the people that regularly come, their drawing gets better because they're doing it and they're getting guidance from someone who really has been in the industry for a long time. We try about every Sunday to have some type of event, and it's a different event about every week. We'll have things like miniatures painting, or often we have a role-playing game event. So the way a role-playing game works is you have one person that is a storyteller called a dungeon master, and they have the story, they play a whole bunch of characters, they control monsters, kind of like the computer in a video game. And then you have players that each have a character and puts their character through the story that the storyteller or dungeon master has prepared. One of the next ones we have planned is a D&D Epic, which an epic is a multi-table, like collaborative role-playing event. So we might have up to 8, 10 tables of both Korean speakers and English speakers, and all those tables have different dungeon masters, but they're working together in a common scenario. We have also people that go around as roaming NPCs, non-player characters, and they'll interact with the different tables in various ways. The one this year is kind of special because we have drag performers that are going to come, and they're going to be the roaming NPCs. This is the first one we've done. I think it's going to be really exciting. Before the pandemic, every Wednesday on Dungeons and Dragons night, we would have a full house of people playing. Post-pandemic, it's a little bit smaller than it was like 4 or 5 years ago, but it's growing fast. Also, the release of the Dungeons and Dragons movie and the Baldur's Gate 3 has had a lot more casual interest in role-playing games growing in both English-speaking and Korean-speaking communities. But in the Korean community, Dungeons and Dragons is kind of a minor game. Call of Cthulhu is a much more popular game. Overall, that community leans a lot stronger towards female players. In the shop though, I think it's about 50-50. Average age of players, it's pretty broad. There's some of the people that come in and play or hang out at the shop that were some of the first Korean players to bring Dungeons and Dragons to Korea in the 90s. So I've got some of those players, and I've also got players that are still in high school. There's one dad that would bring his son, I think was like 9 years old, to play in some of the games. One of the battles I fight daily is making it really clear that the Dice and Comics Cafe or Dice Latte before that is not limited to just one group of people. More recently, it's become more popular, so the cool kids are coming in too, which in some way is good. And I think it's really good overall. But I've also seen some things where The types of players that really need role-playing games, it's almost therapeutic because it provides a setting where some folks that might have difficulty interacting socially can have some type of structure that helps them make friends and meet people. I feel like in some ways I've seen some of those players feeling less welcome. I try to make it so that every person that comes through the door can make a friend, find some people to play with, and enjoy just being with other people. I think the biggest difference that I might notice, just first off, between the international community players and the Korean community players, in a lot of cases, the Korean players don't use their real names. The cool thing they started doing recently is a lot of the players and GMs, they print a business card that is their player business card. It's pretty cool, and that's unique to Korea. Also, I think the standard for someone that is a game master is very high, because there's some really good game masters that are very skilled. In the international community, there'll be those very, very skilled guys, but there's also people that just play for fun and they, drink beer and Mountain Dew and eat potato chips. Misconceptions about the TRPG community. I mean, there are a lot of misconceptions in the 80s and even in the 90s about what they called the satanic panic.
Dungeons and Dragons has been called the most effective introduction to the occult.
Now there's a lot more understanding of what the game is and that it's really just a game. I think now they show it in a really positive light for the most part. Critical Role has done a lot to bring a lot of new players to role-playing games. Matt Mercer, that's the dungeon master, is fantastic at it. The players are also all really good.
Jaw kind of splits open.
That being said, sometimes those players might come and they have a high expectation for their very first role-playing game session. So I have to kind of say beforehand, those people are professionals. What you might experience today is not going to be at that level. It's going to be fun, but it's not going to be as theatrical. We have a bit of a business relationship with the CGV Cinemas, and I talked to them about maybe doing a pop-up store when the Dungeons and Dragons movie came out and selling some miniatures and dice, and they were saying, oh, we're not expecting it to be that popular. Then afterwards, our contact with CGV is, wow, a lot of people came to see that. It kind of shows that there is a broader awareness of just the Dungeons and Dragons property. There's quite a vibrant and large community of players. When I do an event or when I have a D&D day or a role-playing game day like our Wednesdays and Fridays, a big important part of it is making sure that everyone that comes to the door is going to be able to play something, even if they're beginners. So on weekdays, an incentive that we have for the game masters, the dungeon masters, is that if their table is open to walk-ins, we offer a free meal. If there's an English-speaking player that's learning Korean and they want to join a Korean table, one thing we've done in the past is we've had bilingual tables where the dungeon master was a bilingual person that would run the game and help with communication. I know a lot of other people that have come to Korea with a very basic proficiency in Korean and played role-playing games with a very patient group of people and improved their Korean quite a bit. So if anyone wants to play a role-playing game or come and check it out or make some friends, the easiest way is just to show up for an event. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook, or even join one of our Kakao Talk open chats. We're always here for anyone that is just looking for a place that's for them. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments below. This is my life. And this is our life in Korea.
This is our life in Korea!
Oh, do I have to thank him? This was my idea. I owe so much to you and the cafe and your wife, beautiful wife Cleo, for having me here and making me part of the community.
This is my drawing of the Inmyeoncho, the bird with a human face that showed up at the Olympics, and I can't get it out of my head. It was just a really beautiful, haunting creature.
I'm really grateful that you made somewhere like this. Cleo 언니, you were always so welcoming and so kind, and you were really there for me when things were tough before as well. I love you guys, thank you. And thank you for helping me with my Korean homework. I wish you were here this week because it's really hard.
I drew the Hulk serving and eating cheeseburgers. Me and my father have always enjoyed having cheeseburgers in different places, and now I sell them in Korea. And I try not to eat too many of them.
I'm really grateful, Joey, that you've got this place here. It really is one of my favorite places to come and hang out, and has really helped my life here in Korea.
아쿠아맨이 수산시장에 가서 산낙지를 먹는 사람을 보고 이제 경악을 하는 장면을 그려봤습니다.
맛있고 즐거운 카페를 만들어 주셔서 감사합니다.
This particular drawing, it says, "Ah, 예쁘다." It's usually the random ajumas on the street. So we have Bart sitting down, and he's like silently crying because it's so nice and cute.
좋은 문화 만들어 주셔서 감사하고 이제 덕분에 제가 코믹스에 이제 새로운 취미를 가지게 돼서 감사하게 생각하고 있습니다.
No, this is actually our 막내. He's probably one of the best members, most hardworking members. Here he is.
안녕하십니까. 시작하셨나요? 중학교 3학년 김주현이라고 합니다. 담이 보였죠?